Good day, my name is Vincent Muka, the Executive Director for Healthcare Access Advocates for Disabilities, and I'm also an active member for Pharmacists Against Drug Abuse. Today, we want to talk about drug and substance abuse. We're going to talk about the harmful effects of abusing drugs, and the first thing we would want to talk about is the health consequences. There are physical health consequences on drug and substance abuse. As you find out, most people who abuse drugs, they're at a very high risk of organ damage. And on organ damage, the most organs that are affected is the liver, the lungs, and the heart. Then there are also mental health risks. Those people who abuse drugs, they are at a high risk of suffering from mental health conditions such as psychosis, and it can actually increase the chances of depression and anxiety. Then the other danger of using drugs is addiction. So when we talk about addiction, there's that continuous dependence on the urge to use certain specific drugs, and that is a very negative effect on the overall health. So for the young persons, especially those who are still going to school, be it at primary, secondary school, or tertiary level, abuse of drugs and different substances, it has got a negative effect on the cognitive function of the human health, and it impairs the academic performance. So there is reduced cognitive function, reduced memory, and decision making is also affected if people are using and abusing drugs. So some of the effects of drugs, there are social and behavioral issues. So there are strained relationships, be it relationships with the family, relationship with the friends, and social isolation. Persons who use drugs, they isolate themselves from the society, and there's an increased chances of engaging in risky behaviors. So these risky behaviors, they include reckless driving, violence. People who abuse drugs, most of them, they are violent, and they end up indulging in unsafe sexual practices. And most of people, they end up raping other people who are very innocent. So there is chances of increased criminal activities. So people, they indulge in criminal activities, one, to get access to the drugs as well as in using the drugs. So the other long-term effects of using drugs, you find out there is disrupted brain development, and in adolescence it ends up impairing the memory function, and there is an increased risk of suffering from the chronic diseases such as heart failure, hypertension, and other various diseases. So today, that's all we can talk about. Thank you so much.